today? Yay, yay, yay. So we have some questions. I'm going to get to them. I am going to get to them right now. So how is everybody? And you know, all the good things. So, yeah, let's see. Questions. Cheryl asked a question. What are your thoughts on Metamucil? Yeah, it's a way to get a fiber in, definitely, and you definitely need fiber. So let me address some good dietary sources of fiber. I don't know why Metamucil is a supplement, so it's and I'm not sure what it's made out of, to be honest, but I can look into that for you and give you a more detailed answer. Um, Maybe Melissa knows too, but I have not used a fiber supplement. I just make sure the general fiber recommendation is about 25 grams a day of fiber. So if you're eating a diet that's rich in whole foods, and you're eating things that have like insoluble fibers in them and you're drinking plenty of water, then you probably don't need the supplement. But that's just my general, off the top of my head, thought about it. So, gosh, I'm not seeing my live in the feed though. Where am I? Am I here, you guys? Holy moly. Uh, yeah, you're still here. Okay. Hey, Brienne, how are you? Love the new office. Yeah, it's a mess back there though, because I was planning on using StreamYard and I have a background, so I didn't clean up my background mess. So I'm a little cluttered, but that's okay. That's okay. Get fiber from food. Yes. Avocado, that's where I get my fiber from. In fact, it's in my shake, which I'm still drinking. I have a berry shake. I started late today. I had try him. I was spent 2 hours on the phone this morning with a tech person over my email. So just so you know, if you haven't gotten an email from me in quite a while, at least that's why. There's just some issues. So just having lots of tech problems. I'm finally hiring a tech support guy. I decided, okay, I can't have this happen because I feel like I've been fuddling around for about a week and a half. And my business has kind of like, you guys, I rely on tech to deliver. So it's been challenging. Hi Sherry, good afternoon. Good afternoon. So that's my answer to Metamucil. I rely on fiber from food, avocado, yes. Of course, leafy greens, broccoli, uh, other things like chia seed is a great source of fiber. And I also put flax seeds in my shakes. But I have a whole fiber guide, Cheryl, that I can send you. So if that would be helpful. If anybody else wants it, drop me a DM or write fiber guide down below the post. Say fiber guide, and I'll send you my list of fiber foods where you can get fiber in your diet from foods. So, so important, and very happy to help you with that. All right. So another question that I get a lot, and I had my little StreamYard set up to throw the questions there, so I'm going to have to go back and forth to my phone to scroll. But let's see. Who else had a question here? Let me go back to Facebook on my phone. I know I get a question a lot about alternative sweeteners, so I'm going to answer that one first because that's a general question. I just get it a lot. It wasn't asked by anyone specifically. So I thought, well, if no one asks me any questions, I'm going to have a few lined up. So this is one of them that I get a lot. What about artificial sweeteners? So you guys, there's the jury is sort of out on whether or not. I mean, there's just a lot of controversy about them or different mixed opinions. But in general, most of the holistic people in holistic and functional nutrition space and functional medicine space are standing, and I stand on the philosophy that it's a synthetic sugar. It's not something natural, and so your body doesn't recognize it and do with it what it needs to do with it as though it was natural. So I always propose using natural sugars, which are honey, maple. My two go-tos when I need to sweeten something, as I did this morning, my shake. I'm using a new protein powder that's I don't really like. So I am adding a little bit of monk sugar to it. So monk is a natural plant source. Stevia, Truvia, I believe, is all natural plant sources of sugar, and they are better alternatives. Why use something synthetic that your body doesn't recognize that can cause harm to your gut if you can use something natural? That's healthier. So that's my philosophy, and I'm sticking to it. So let me find the group on my phone so I can follow along your questions there. Actually, I see them over here, so that's good. Fiber foods, yes, Cheryl. But wanted to go to the feed where is it? Holy moly. I'm all fumbled up. Sorry. Let's see. As Cheryl said, Melissa, have you go live yet? Mm-mm. So that's alternative sweeteners. Are they good or bad for you? So I think that if there's two classes, there's synthetic and there's natural. So I think the synthetic ones are bad for you, if you want to know, and the plant-based ones are good for you. But here's the other thing I tell people is we have to retrain our taste buds. We've been over consuming sugar, most of us, for decades of our life. And so our taste buds and our brain tells us sweet, yay, sweet, happy, and we have all these triggers. So we need to retrain our taste buds so that we are not wanting things so sweet. Um, and I know I've retrained mine because I was telling my clients this yesterday in my coaching program. I treated myself to a piece of pumpkin bread that was at the coffee shop. And I don't normally get stuff like that, but I love pumpkin bread, any kind of sweet bread. But I actually couldn't eat it. It was too sweet. Like it was so sweet. The first bite, I was like, holy moly. I felt like I was put my spoon in a sugar bowl and put it in my mouth. That's how sweet it was. It's just so sweet. So there's so many good foods and so many things we can make for ourselves with fresh ingredients that are not time consuming, that are not hard to do, that do not have a bunch of sugar in them. So they might have a little honey or a little maple syrup. Like I made some protein balls the other day that had a little honey in them. Honey is a natural sweetener. It's still sugar, you guys, and it's considered still added sugar, but it's it's not sugar. It's not as quickly converted to glucose as other things are. Melissa is my blood sugar expert. She says the latest thing she's heard alternative sweeteners, monk fruit, yes, stevia, allulose are best for you and great for your gut. That's the other thing, because they're not natural, your gut doesn't recognize them. And so it just destroys that microflora in our gut that we're trying to make healthy so we don't have, you know, leaky gut problems. And a lot of us do because of stress. I mean, we're fighting so many things, so it's on so many fronts, right? So just avoid alternative sweeteners that are synthetic. So that's the answer to that question. All right, the next question had to do with, I think, protein. Um, yeah, how much, this is also a general one I get a lot, is how much protein should I eat and how can I get enough protein without going over calories? I'm always going to say, screw the calories. We don't care. We do. If you're trying to lose weight, we do need to be in a calorie deficit. But the benefit of protein over calorie deficit is so much greater. So much greater because if we're getting enough protein and we're exercising to retain muscle mass, we're going to burn more calories. So it has to do with the energy equation, and it's not so straightforward as calories in, calories out. So screw the calories, don't worry about the calories so much as get your protein in. I can't stress it enough. And Melissa will tell you that it's not easy to get the number of grams of protein that you want. So, but most of us just need to start somewhere. Start where you are and increase it because you're not getting enough. I can almost guarantee you, you're not getting enough. So the general guideline is 1 gram per gram of desired body weight. So if you want to weigh 125 pounds, you need 125 grams of protein a day. Most people struggle to get 100. Most people struggle to get 100. And so I start people there. Like, let's just go for this. Like, let's go for 90 to 100. And how you can do that easily, well, I won't say easily, because you got to be intentional. You've got to be intentional. So, first of all, you have to know your protein sources. What are good sources of protein? Eggs, meat. There's lots of good plant sources too, but I don't address a lot of vegan things. If you're vegan, I'm actually thinking about having my friend Nancy come in the group sometime and talk to us about vegan nutrition because she's an expert at vegan nutrition and she's a macro coach and she's an expert at vegan nutrition. But anyway, and I do believe there's a lot of benefits to plant-based nutrition too. It's not my lane necessarily. So anyway, chicken, fish, uh, um, beef, pork, all your meat sources, eggs, cottage cheese, yogurt, some of your dairy sources. Um, and where people get tripped up is dairy can be inflammatory, so they try to go low, they try to cut out dairy, which you can, and you can still get your protein in. Protein powder is a great supplemental source of protein. I did a whole training on what's the scoop with protein powders. Um, Protein just makes such a big difference in your life. Melissa's commenting here, protein's key. Protein's the key to longevity. No, it's not easy, but do you want it? Do you want to live longer? Do you want to feel healthier? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want to have more energy? Do you want to work out better? All the things, protein is kind of the key and consistency with it too. So, anyway, know your protein sources and then strive for at least 30 grams per meal times three. So, 30 to 40 grams per meal times three. If you do a snack, then make sure that snack is going to give you some protein. It's like have some cottage cheese, a little fruit on top. It also helps your blood sugar balance if you're including protein. That's why I teach protein, fat, carbohydrate. If you're including protein with your carbohydrate, you don't need to be on a super low carbohydrate. You do if you're trying to maintain calories, but get the protein. Don't cut the protein out. That's what I'm saying. So Melissa's saying, Melissa, thank you so much. I appreciate you popping in the group all the time and giving us your insights. And she's just an enthusiast for nutrition, and she's done a lot of personal experimental stuff, and I just love her. Okay, so good culture cottage cheese, that's my favorite. It's with scrambled eggs. Yeah, you could add it to eggs for sure. 30 grams, boom. An egg is about 7 grams, depending on how big the egg is. But yeah, a couple of eggs with a big scoop of cottage cheese, or have it on the side even. I've had toast, like sourdough toast, or a good grain, like wheat grain toast, or not, or buckwheat grain, or seed bread, like Dave's Killer or Ezekiel. I've had that with cottage cheese on it and sliced apple. Like that gives that a little sweet. Anyway, yeah, so know your protein sources for sure, and go for 1 gram per pound of ideal, whatever your ideal weight is. And then pair that with strength training, because another question I get a lot is about exercise. Most of us think, and I was listening to a podcast just yesterday, in fact, and it was on hormonal issues and stuff. It was, I forget who the person is, the doctor that was doing it. But she actually had the bone coach on there, and I'm dealing with some issues with osteo, and it's all hormone related, you guys. It just happens to us, and I'm going to do a training in here on it soon, because I think more people need to know what's going on. Like, what the heck? What is going on? But that's another way that you can combat osteo also is with bone strengthening exercise, and that's also how you can help with weight loss. So if you're looking to lose weight, consistently get in some strength training exercise where we're putting pressure on our muscles and our, we're training our muscles. You will not bulk out. Anyway, I started to say, I was listening to the podcast and she was saying how so few women still know this information. Like your doctors are not telling you this information. They're not going to do it. They're going to give you a prescription for a pharmaceutical that will boost your bones. But there's a lot of side effects to those drugs that if you can avoid them, and I'm trying hard to avoid them, you're better off. You'll be better off. There's so much you can do with lifestyle to improve your status. But protein has a lot to do with it because when you're building more muscle, and when you're retaining that, as we age, we lose muscle mass, right? So when we're retaining our muscles by strengthening them, which is weightlifting, guys. For a long time, I wanted to avoid it too. I want to say, no, I don't want to lift weights. That's too hard. It hurts. I don't want to hurt myself. And then I went through this period where was diagnosed with osteopenia. Then I was diagnosed with osteoporosis, and I was told to not, do anything that would injure my bones. Exactly wrong. Exactly. I need to be cautious. I don't want to fall, and I don't want to break my back. But if I don't give my body that resistance training, then I'm not going to get stronger. Those things help strengthen your bones. It sends stuff to your bones that strengthens them. So, yes, and I did reverse osteopenia to I did reverse it in the next DEXA scan. So I went osteopenia, osteoporosis. I forget what my score was. It was right on the border. And then I went back to osteopenia, and then my last bone scan was osteoporosis again. So even when you're doing all the things, it might not be enough, but I still want to do, and I still know. So I asked myself the question, and I want you guys to get into this mode as well, is ask yourself questions. Be your own best private investigator. Don't rely on what your doctor's going to tell you in 15 minutes in a visit. Kind of thing. Like I don't disrespect the medical profession. I respect them highly when people have real issues and problems, but they don't have time to teach you how to fix it with your lifestyle. And some of them don't believe you can. Some of them don't believe you can. In fact, my doctor said, well, he wasn't my doctor. I was referred to a cardiac specialist. This was a couple of years ago. I was having some trouble with my blood pressure. And I was concerned about it when I was working. I was out of breath. And I said, I want one of those like screenings to see if everything's working okay. And he sent me to a cardiologist. And the I was running a high LDL, bad cholesterol. I'm like, what, why? I eat right. And he says, oh, hardly anybody can fix this with diet. Nobody can fix it with diet. You need drugs. He actually told me that. And I said, well, thank you very much, but I don't want drugs. And 6 months later, I went back to my regular doctor. We did the blood work again, and my LDLs went down or up or whatever. I forget. But anyway, they got better. They got better. My cholesterol reading went down and my LDLs went down. That's right. It's HDLs that you want to be high and LDLs you want to be low. All right. So anyway, you can fix these things. You can change these things, and it doesn't have to consume your whole life. Like Melissa's saying, I don't do long workouts, 20 minutes and lift to failure. So that might be, I was listening to this guy, the bone coach last night, and I might post he has a free, if anybody wants more information on him, I don't coach with him or anything. He has a free resource, and actually I'm going to go check it out today. But he was talking about if you lifting to failure, like People, that's the other thing people ask me when they see me that I'm doing some kind of weights. They're like, well, how much, or I see it asked a lot in different groups that I'm in, is how much should I lift? It depends on you. Depends on how strong you are. So, I'm right now lifting 20 pounds. I bet Melissa's lifting 30 to 50 because I know she's been working at it longer than me. But it depends on where you are. And just lift to failure. So, fewer repetitions with heavier weight safely done is better than a whole bunch of repetitions with a lower weight. Although having said that, my bar workout yesterday was a killer, and this I was using 2 pound weights. We do lots of repetitions, so but those are targeting different muscle groups. Those are targeting smaller, finer muscles, and there's it's still good, and I enjoy that. I love it. But the point is, you don't have to do a ton. You don't have to do a ton. 3 times a week, um, 3 or 4. That's exactly what the bone coach was recommending yesterday. Walking daily. And Melissa, thank you for reminding me about my rebounder. I do love my rebounder. I think she put it here yesterday, and she said, "How do you like your rebounder?" And I said, "I love it." But the honest truth is, I put it up in a spare bedroom, and I kind of forgot about it. So I've been using it, but intermittently. So I had my husband bring it down to my bedroom today, so that I would use that more often because I do love it. I do love it. Um, Melissa, rule of thumb, if I can get past 7 reps, then I need to increase my weights. That's a good one. Yeah, he said, the bone coach said, and I forget what his name is. He said, I think he said 7 to 10 reps would be good for most people. Like whatever weight you fail at 7 to 10 reps. So don't quote me on it, but it was somewhere, it was a small range, like a really small range. So you just have to know what to do. You just have to know what to do. Is Allulus at the grocery store? Um, Melissa, do you know? I don't know because I don't look for it, but I use monk. I think I have monk and stevia in my kitchen, but I haven't really used any of those things for a long time. For a long time, not until I switched my protein powder. There must have been some sweetener in my older protein powder that I, you know, was using. All right. So, other questions. Let's see. We talked about weight. So, Jackie asked me in another post earlier this week, Jackie Schwartz. So, if you're watching, Jackie, she asked me about hot flashes, how to get rid of or how to deal with these hot flashes. So this is a menopausal group. It's a group for women, menopause. So I will tell you this: that hot flashes are due to your fluctuations in hormones, especially estrogen. It's lowering. I think Jackie's probably on the early stages of menopause. I know she's a few years younger than me. Everybody's a few years younger than me. That's okay. But anyway, that's what it's related to. And the best thing that you can do is some of the lifestyle factors. I'm going to tell you some lifestyle and diet factors that you can do. First of all, is address the maybe your getting enough sleep, and that's hard because you're so hot at night. So I did hear there was some cooling sheets out there somewhere. You might want to Google that, Jackie. Like you can buy cooling sheets. But diet wise, um, avoiding spicy food, avoiding caffeine, avoiding sugar, of course, and avoiding keeping your weight right is going to be beneficial for minimizing hot flashes. Some women do need some hormone adjustment, and um, I don't tell people don't do artificial or bioidentical hormone treatment. Some people need it. Some people need it, and I'm probably getting ready to get some because I think I'm what you call hormone depleted. So if you might need it. So see your practitioner, your gynecologist about that. But just know what questions to ask. Like have a hormone test done. Have a hormone test done to see and to verify what that is, and maybe she can balance you out a little bit. So, all right. What other questions do I have? So I did the protein, I did the sugar. Um, Okay, fasting. That was the other question. We use a bed jet. That's what I heard, Melissa. I heard about this cooling bed jet thing. I forget who I heard that from. It wasn't you. It was somebody outside my circle, and I was like, that's interesting. I'll have to try that. Um, Biodynamic hormone replacement therapy. Yeah, some people need it. I resisted it, but it was 20 years ago. And there was a lot of controversy still out there about it. So I went through it all without any hormone replacement. I kind of regret that. I do kind of regret that because I think that's probably what contributed to my osteoporosis more than anything is the decline in estrogen and progesterone, testosterone, and all the other hormones. So you can do a lot getting your diet fixed, and most of us need to start there. But truly, if you're on the beginning stages, in retrospect, I wish I had taken advantage of that. And the research later, in the last, I would say 5 years, has found the side effects or the risks. Like there was a big study that was overquoted that had to do with cancer and cause if you got artificial hormone therapy that um, it's since been debunked. The Melissa's talking about it. It was a study done, I think, in 2002 or something, and it said that hormone replacement caused cancer, uterine especially, and so we were all scared of it. But that's been debunked and it's completely false now. So you're safe to try some. So you're safe to try some. And I would. If I had to go back and do it again, I would. And I think that's what caused my weight gain as well. And getting sugar out of my diet helps for sure, but you know, probably could have avoided some of it. So definitely. All right, we love it. All right, yeah, and I'll also get a question about what's the best diet to follow. You guys, I get this all the time. Well, I'm a dietitian, so yeah. I always say my response to this question is always the same. There isn't a best diet, okay? There just isn't a best diet. It's about a lifestyle. The best diet is a clean, whole food diet. A diet's what you eat, but a diet like to lose weight or to prevent weight gain is a clean, whole food based diet. Okay, so there's a couple of protocols out there that are supportive of that, like the Whole Foods diet, the DASH diet, which the American Heart Association has had out for years, which is all pretty much plant based. It's not all plant based, but lots of plant foods. More plant foods. If we just focus on vegetables, getting vegetables in, you don't have to eliminate meat products, but definitely get more vegetables in. And that's where the standard American diet has failed people because we're not getting vegetables in that. It says 5 servings a day. That's not enough. That's not enough. And most people don't even get that. So definitely, um, like the Mediterranean diet's another one that's good. So if you have to have a name for it, those could be it, or follow my PFC diet, which is protein, fats, carbs, balanced diet, 3 times a day. Uh, manage your, follow your blood sugar levels. Um, when your blood sugars are low, you feel that crash. That's what we want to avoid. We want to stay even because if we have high inputs of carbs, this is why the low carb diet and keto diet gets so much popularity because people are like, oh, it's the carbs. Now the carbs are the culprit. It's not necessarily the carbs, it's what we're eating the carbs with or without. We're not balancing them with protein and healthy fat. So we're getting a big bulk of sugar because all those things break down into sugar and the carbs do it faster. So our blood sugar levels just go up faster. It spikes and then we experience a crash which we want to which causes us to crave more of that because we want that spike. It's like a dopamine hit. So this is what this is all about. Balance is key for sure. For sure. So, and as far as intermittent fasting goes, because I get that a lot, should I intermittent fast? It depends. It depends on where you are in this journey. That's all I can say is it totally depends, but you definitely need to follow some instruction that's somebody that knows what they're doing with it. So I can certainly help you with it. But people that I follow are like Dr. Mary, well, Melissa, help me with her name, Mary Claire Haver. Anyway, the Galveston diet. She came up with the Galveston diet a few years ago, like 2018 or something. I think I subscribed to that. And it's a diet like any other diet. You get a list, you get a menu, you get a who follows that stuff? Not very many people. And then yes, Mindy Pelt's fasting like a girl. In fact, I think I like her stuff a little better, if I'm gonna say. I mean, she's just really thorough on different where you at are in your cycle, if you're perimenopausal, the different seeds of your cycle, and how to fast during those different times of the month. Because women, a lot of the intermittent fasting that studies have been done not on women. So she knows what she's talking about, and I would follow her stuff. She has a whole YouTube channel, Dr. Mindy Peltz, and she has a book called Fast Like a Girl, and then she has another one called the Menopause Reset, I think it's called. So, and it's about intermittent fasting during menopause and postmenopause. So there you go. But in general, but the most of the research that I'm reading, and I read a lot of research, is pointing to for postmenopausal women, if you're postmenopausal, don't try to do these crazy fasts. Like just maybe 13 hours is the max. Don't try to do a 16-hour fast or, you know, 17-hour fast where you're not eating for that long of a time. I do think there's value in an occasional 24-hour fast just to reset things. She even has a 36-hour fast in her book. I have not done that. Maybe Melissa has, but probably not, come to think of it. But anyway, I think that there isn't one size fits all, and you have to if you're interested in intermittent fasting and you've tried everything else, first of all, I always like to ask myself the question, and you guys ask yourself the question, how clean is my diet? Start there. If your diet's not cleaned up, if you're still eating a lot of sugar and you're still eating a lot of junk food, then get rid of that stuff first, see how that affects you, and then decide if you need more. Melissa said she messed herself up doing intermittent fasting, didn't vary the fast enough. Now doing great. Occasional 24-hour fast for gut health. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Occasional 24-hour fast for gut health. That's it. Just gives your gut a rest. And it allows your system to go into this thing called autophagy. Oh my God, I've been talking for 45 minutes, you guys. Oh no, I was late. 30 minutes. All right, you guys. I eat a vegetizer before ever fueling. What's a vegetizer? I'm not familiar with that, Lisa. So I have weeks where I don't fast at all. Yep. You got to do what works for you. And the problem I've always had with intermittent fasting in general, or keto in general, and I do believe there's some advantage to eating a lower carb diet for certain people. What I dislike about these diets is that they're not sustainable. They're not something you really can stick with for a very long time. And they can put you in a mental state of like this mental state of restriction, and they've even been shown to lead to people into eating disorders. Or if you've been disordered at all around your eating, which some of us have, I haven't, but I know people who have, it can cause further aggravation of that. So we have to eat, we have to live, we have to enjoy, but we also need to live healthy. right? We want to maintain our health. So moderation is key, always, always, always. Oh, raw veggies on the plate. Oh, a vegetizer. Sorry, I thought it was some special thing. A vegetizer, quick and easy veggies, always. Yeah, on the plate, carrots, cucumbers, peppers. Yep, always keep them chopped up. I don't do that always before meals, but I should, and I could. I've been really working on. I have a period in the afternoon where I like to snack, and I've been trying to do raw veggies instead of a banana and peanut butter or a piece of fruit and peanut butter. I've been trying to switch over to the raw veggies. Anyway, that's today's Q&A session brought to you by Dietitian Leslie. And I hope you enjoyed that. And thank you again for those of you who are here live and supporting the call. As always, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Cheryl, Melissa. Thank you. Thank you. Who else was here? Brianne. Who else was here? I think that's it today. But anyway, thank you for being here. And if you watched the replay, please put hashtag replay so I know you were here. And if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer on a future call, please let me know. I'm here to answer your questions. All right, talk to you later. Have a beautiful rest of the week.